So 3-2 it ended to Barcelona after extra time, with Jules Koundé's strike securing the silverware for Hansi Flick's men. But as you just saw, we saw the good, the bad and the very ugly in that game as well. Let's welcome in former Real Madrid star Steve McManaman, whose voice you just heard on that commentary. We've also got Mario Melchiot with us as well. Macca, it was super entertaining, that game. It was great to be a part of. It was great to watch. And you did see these valiant efforts from Real Madrid in that second half, of course. But we'll get to that in just a little while. But at the top of the show, we did mention that Carlo Ancelotti has been reported to be taking over the Brazil job at the end of June, or in June sometime, obviously bringing his time with Real Madrid to an end. What's your initial reaction to those reports?
Well, it's not a surprise, is it, Kay? I think everybody concerned knew that after the Champions League defeat against Arsenal, his job was going to come to an end. The fact that he's preempted it and got himself another job already, and Brazil desperately need a new manager. They desperately need a manager with a lot of experience. And it's no surprise whatsoever that Carlo's going to take the job.
Yeah. Stevie?
What, the worst kept secret in football? That Carlo Ancelotti is going to go to Brazil?
All right.
I mean, 100%. It's great news for Brazil. I don't know whether it's great news for Real Madrid, but it's good news for Ancelotti.
Yeah, no doubt more news coming about that. But Macca, we did hear your voice. Obviously, you were on the commentary for that game. It really did end in an ugly way for Real Madrid. Those 3 red cards, it's not really the image that Real Madrid are supposed to be portraying. Stevie yesterday called it classless. How did you see it all?
Well, the lads on the panel, Stevie, Shaka and even Mario, will speak to later, have all played in England, and it is classless. I was disgusted with it, I really was. I thought the behaviour was reprehensible. I don't know what Rudiger was doing. They reacted to the referee giving a foul on Kylian Mbappe because he accidentally hit somebody in the face as he goes past them. You know, it wasn't a foul, but it was nothing important to react like that. And Real Madrid, the fact that it's very, very quickly after Real Madrid TV putting out the stories about the referee, 2 months ago Real Madrid writing letters to La Liga about the referees and how poor they are. It is classless. It's Real Madrid have always prided themselves, like they should, like the big teams in Europe, on having integrity, about being, always respectful to the referees, always, adhering to the decisions no matter what. But at this moment in time, they're turning themselves into one of the most hated clubs in the world very, very quickly. And that was unlike them 2-3 years ago. They were one of the best and one of the most valued and one of the most cherished clubs that people want to join. At this moment in time, they look like a laughing stock, and they're out on their own, and they have to roll back everything that they've been doing, apologise and move forward. When I joined Real Madrid, we got this stat pack, this pack off the club saying it was like a Bible of how you should behave, a white Di Stefano shirt, and then a list of orders about integrity, about respect, about how the club comes first, and how you don't disregard the club's name. But I'd learned all that when I played for Liverpool. So to see them turn into this club they are at the moment is awful. It really, really is, and they need to do something about it. It's fine when you're winning doubles and trebles and Champions League every single year, but they're not going to win anything at the moment, and you cannot act like this.
It's interesting, as you said there, Macca, the handbook, the knowing the values that they're supposed to be portraying, that they are the image of the club that you've seen team after team, generation after generation. So what's changed since your time there? What's changed with this group of players?
Well, I honestly don't know, because the same men are in charge, Florentino and Jose Angel Sanchez, who have been there for many, many, many years. This is not a new group of people. And somebody has given the order, and it's probably Florentino, because nothing gets done in Real Madrid without Florentino say so. For Real Madrid to go crazy, insinuating about referees, for letters to be posted to La Liga. So it has to come from the very top. So I don't know who has given who advice, but whatever they're doing, the advice is all wrong. Yes, they're successful. Yes, they're very rich. Yes, they're powerful. But if nobody likes them, if they're classless, if everybody wants them to lose every single week, then they're in trouble. They're just going to marginalise themselves, where 99% of the population hate them, and the 1% which are Real Madrid fans love them. And you don't want to turn it into that. Nobody does.
Don't go out and spoil the game, because like Maka said, this is not just a random team. This is one of the greats. So if you play for one of the greats, you don't want that. And I can guarantee you, Rudiger came out later on in the evening. He came out and said, like, he apologized and said, I shouldn't have let myself go this far and stuff like that. It's great. I'm happy he did that, because it won't help you, because we all like, when I watch Rudiger, when he goes at the game, when he's really like getting stuck at people, I go like, wow, I love that. But this part, I will never support.
Yeah, and obviously he can't undo, Shaka, what he's done. The reports are that it will be from between 4 to 12 games. What do you think the appropriate punishment would be for what we saw there?
For throwing a missile on the field as he did, I don't see how it's less than 6. I will say this, though, and while I'll echo everything everyone has said over the last couple of days about Real Madrid's behaviour, as disgusting as it was, as hard as it was to watch, as to use TV's term, as classless as it was also expected. In that, I feel Real Madrid had been barreling towards this. And I blame Florentino Perez for this, for his rhetoric and always picking on referees. And I feel an attempt to bully referees for games to go Real Madrid's way. And in certain instances, I think it's worked. Now, if we look back at the challenge, Kylian Mbappe's red card against Alaves, we sat here and we discussed whether that would be 3 games or 4 games. That was the only discussion, whether it would be 3 or more. If it were more than 3 games, he would have missed the Copa del Rey final. Nobody expected it to be 1. I don't think there is a former player, a pundit on the planet who thought that challenge was deserving of a 1-game suspension. Yet that's what Kylian Mbappe got, allowing him to continue to feature as prominently as he will between now and the end of the season for Real Madrid. So in certain instances, you can't help but wonder, is Florentino Perez's rhetoric around referees having an impact, having a benefit to Real Madrid? But then you see this, you see how the game finished, and you see the ugly side of that very same coin. And this has been coming. When you take that tone, when you feel that the entire world is against you, and this is something I feel really strongly about. I don't know how it is clubs the size of Real Madrid have this victim mentality. I really don't. It can work for a short time, but it can't work over a prolonged period, because this is what you end up with. And the chickens have just come home to roost.
You know, from the player's point of view, it's 35 years since I had a Liverpool jersey on. But I remember everywhere we would go, the respect that we got from away fans, because we were Liverpool and because of the way we acted. And still today, I get that same respect because of that. The players don't understand that in 25 years, when they're all finished playing, if they carry on doing what they've been doing, and particularly likes of Rudiger and Vinny complaining all the time, that's going to hurt them. In 25 years, people are going to go, oh yeah, you were a good player, but I didn't like the way you acted. I mean, that stays with you, and the players better realise that. Yeah,
and the thing is as well, Macros, as we saw in that second half, we'd seen a different Real Madrid to what we'd been seeing of late. A Real Madrid that was showing more fight. That probably would have been the story had we not seen these scenes at the end, even if they had gone on to lose it. But now they have lost Antonio Rudiger. They are saying in the Spanish press that the Liga title is still alive, and they do still believe they can win it. They are yet to face Barcelona in that second game in La Liga, and now they're going to be without him.
Well, yes, and they're going to get punished, aren't they? Lucas Vazquez is going to miss games, Jude Bellingham's going to miss games. They're all going to miss games, so they're only punishing themselves. And you know what? People will be laughing about it. People will be pleased about it. You know, and I agree with what Shaka and Stevie and Mario are all saying. It's fine when you're top of the league, when you're all powerful, when you're winning the Champions League. Everybody wants a piece of you. Well, they're not this year. You know, we know Real Madrid are fighting with all the broadcasters from all over the world, not allowing people in to go to games. Well, you know what? Suddenly it's starting to turn, and everybody will start to turn, because you know what? They don't need Real Madrid this year. They need Barcelona. If Barcelona are the champions and the Copa del Rey champions and the Super Cup champions, everybody will be going to turn up to them. And they'll be opening the doors saying, come on in, don't worry. We don't behave like the other team. So they have to change their mind quickly. But of course, Real Madrid are playing second fiddle. Now, Barcelona have to lose games. That, you know, if Real Madrid still go to Montjuic and beat Barcelona, which is unlikely at this moment in time, well, you know what? They still need more points. The head-to-head was 4-0. They're not going to beat them 5-0 in Montjuic. So they need more things to happen. And this just throws more and more pressure on them. And more people are going to be happy when they lose everything at the end of the season. And, you know, the likes of Vinny Jr., the likes of Kylian Mbappe, you watch, everything will rain down on them if they finish the end of the season, finishing second in the league. PSG are now performing like a team in the Champions League and have won the league. Guess what? There's no Kylian. He turns up at Real Madrid, who won the double last year, the league and the Champions League, and they're nowhere near the standard they were last year. So somebody's going to get the blame for that. So there's going to be a load and loads of issues at the end of the season if they finish second or third in La Liga and Barcelona go on to win everything. And it's all down to their own making.
Meanwhile, Barcelona, and understandably so, have complete confidence in themselves. We've seen a quote from Lamine Yamal that's come out since the final saying, I spoke to Ronald Araujo when we were speaking in the hotel earlier. If they score 1 goal, no problem. If they score 2 goals, no problem. They cannot handle us this year. We have shown it. That's even how 17-year-old Lamine Yamal's feeling right now, Mario.
Hey, listen, you know, this is football. You understand? When you're part of football, this is what happens. You know, you got to get, I mean, we're living in a world, right? And we're living in a country, clearly in America. When it comes about trash talk, this is one of the key countries that owns it. So for us now to see that in football, we have seen it a number of years. I'm sure, you know, all the guys who are sitting there. Yeah, we're always going to pick it, especially in England. I learned a lot of that. So there you go. All of the guys been in England. But when this happened, you understand, when I looked at the game, I saw 2 types of game. Because in the first half, I saw a team dominating this possession. You understand? And I was like, it was actually what Jamal was saying, like comfortability, you know, where the young and Pedri was playing. They were controlling the middle of the park. Second half, one change made everything different. Was the moment where Mbappe entered the pitch. The speed they used from Vini and Mbappe, the second half, changed the game for Real Madrid because they looked tired in the first half. Second half, I was like, wow, what happened here? They had everything in their hands. And then they lost control in the sense of like, because I saw Barcelona was pushed back because they had to do a lot of running to try to keep up with them. And that was the question where I think they really made the mistake, because in the extra time, everything turned back to the way Barcelona wanted it. They controlled everything and they won. And that is exactly what Jamal said. They cannot handle this season. They have not beaten them. Barcelona has always came on top. Why that happens is because when you see, you know, like you take Pedri off, you put Garcia on. When you have that, you understand, Torres comes on, change the game. When you have that capability of making sure that you let someone enter the pitch and brings even better than what you already have, yeah, then you are definitely a great team.
And as Maka just mentioned as well there, Stevie, it is actually in Barcelona's hands. But even saying that, there is another Clásico to come. Barcelona have beaten them on the 3 occasions that they've played them this season. Can you see Barcelona winning it again?
Absolutely. Yeah, other than a, 25-minute spell, over all these games, they've been totally and utterly outplayed and outclassed. And now they're going to step on the field, probably without Bellingham and without Rudiger. So how can anybody think that it's possible that Real Madrid can beat Barcelona? Because I don't see it. You can't convince me anything other than, yes, they've got great individuals, but guess what? 2 of those great individuals won't even be on the field. So no, I don't see it, not at all.
And to Lamine Yamal's comments, I mean, first of all, talking about a 17-year-old who continues to play with a certain sense of maturity that I don't know what to make of that from a 17-year-old. But then showing certain leadership qualities and having those conversations with Araujo before the game and understanding exactly who Barcelona are. And to the point where I think he recognizes that Real Madrid Barca can get to Real Madrid defensively. I look at the goals, and to see Courtois for the second goal, the equalizer from Ferran Torres, leave his line as recklessly as he does, that says to me that he doesn't have confidence in his back four. And now it's a back four that's further decimated because of suspensions. So you have a Real Madrid back line that quite a few on the park don't have that much confidence in. You have a Barcelona forward line that recognize we're better than this back four. It can only make for more Barcelona goals, and you struggle to see how Real Madrid kind of keep up with Barca scoring.
Am I the only person that thinks Yamal should keep his trap shot?
As long as he keeps playing as he is, he could say what he wants.
But that doesn't help the guy next to him that gets kicked or whatever it is because of what he says. I mean, surely you just got... As much as what he's saying is true, that's fine. If you know that's true, that's great. And you can talk to all your teammates you like, and you can all convince yourself that it is true. But why are you spouting your mouth out? You're just giving people fuel to come and get you.
Full of confidence, Stevie.
He's young, Stevie. He's young, Stevie. He's young, man.
Well, somebody needs to grab him and say, "Oi, bottom it."
So here's a look at the manager odds for the next Real Madrid manager, following in the news and the reports that Carlo Ancelotti will be moving on to the Brazil national team at the end of the season. A lot of talk about it being Xabi Alonso, but whoever it is, Macca, whoever does come in, what's the first port of call? What's the first thing they're going to have to do to start the turnaround here at Real Madrid?
Well, yeah, I think it will be Xabi, to be honest, Kate. And it's very difficult. Is my first instinct, because as we know, the new manager will not be picking the players. The players will be already chosen from Florentino, from Jose Angel, from the sporting directors. The players will be chosen. The manager will be gifted these players and told them to go and win the league and the Champions League again. They need to get all their injury problems back. They need to get Militao back. They need to get Dani Carvajal back. They need to get everybody back. But at this moment in time, the hard part, what I've seen this year, apart from the injuries, is the front three cannot play together. They don't work hard enough together. You're all right carrying one who doesn't run. You cannot carry three people who doesn't run. Real Madrid perform better with two, and with Bellingham maybe coming forward like they did last year. They've lost Kroos. Modric hasn't got the impact that he's got, of course, because of his age and his availability now. So they're going to need a real refresh of the team. But we know that the Real Madrid players are so powerful, it's hard for managers to shout and scream and tell them what to do. They all have to buy into it, and that'll be the big question. Are they going to listen to the manager? Are they going to take on board what he says? Are they going to work hard for each other? Because if they're not, it's going to be the same next year, but probably worse. So they all have to buy into the manager's rhetoric of we need to do this and we need to do this and we have a formation, what we need to do. You can't just play whatever you want to play, lose the ball, throw your hands in the air, and then start to walk back. Because if that happens, there's no chance. You look at the stats of the front three, they are damning at times for a world-class footballer who people speak about as Ballon d'Or contenders. They have to do more rather than just now and again score the odd goal. You know, it's not about that. It's about the team.
So with what you're saying there, Macca, and what you're saying, obviously, like, if it is Xabi Alonso, he's relatively new into management, even though he's done amazing with what we've seen from Bayer Leverkusen in that standout season last year. Yeah. He has a lot of pedigree when it comes to Real Madrid, Liverpool, Bayern Munich. He's got all those clubs behind him. But you're saying these players are so powerful. Do you think they will respect and listen to Xabi? I
think they will, but I think the orders are going to have to come from above to say, look, he's in charge. He's in charge. You have to listen to him or you're out the door. But we know in the past that has never happened. The manager shouts at a player and drops a player in the past. The player goes around the manager's back and complains to the president. That has to stop. But the president and the CEO have to say to the players, right, new start, new season, whoever it is, Xabi, Zizou, whoever comes in, but probably Xabi, he's the man in charge now. It's either his way or you're out the door. It's as simple as that. And whether they give him that power is another thing. So I don't necessarily look, you know, it's going to be a really hard job for whoever comes in, because Xabi's a young manager. He's done a great job at Leverkusen, but they allow him to make the rules, make the decisions, play how he wants to play, what formation he wants to play. And they all bought into it. Whether the players from Real Madrid buy into it is another thing. A lot of them will. because they're good pros, but I wonder whether all of them will, and that is the big question.
Well, we all need to take a deep breath and get ourselves ready, because it's less than 2 weeks until another Clásico in La Liga. Barcelona taking on Real Madrid May 11th, 10:15 a.m. Eastern for kickoff, but our coverage will begin at 9. You'll be able to see the game on ESPN and ESPN+. And here's La Liga's schedule coming up this weekend, all kicking off on Friday. Real Madrid will be back in action on Sunday. They're taking on Celta. The day before that, it will be Barcelona away to Valladolid.
Apart from the 4 minutes when Liverpool were behind from the goal, you always knew they were going to win, get the result and win the game comfortably. And from then on, the fans respected no one ran on the pitch. They respected the team. They organised, so the team could stay on the pitch and celebrate with them. I thought that was brilliant, and it was just a lovely day all around. A lot of the young academy players, under 15s, under 16s, were ball boys, and they were jumping on all the pictures with the players. Just a really, really nice day. Lovely feeling about the place. Very friendly because, of course, the celebratory mood. And it went according to plan, and it was a really nice ending.
Oh, Stevie, you're such a pro that you were here with us at ESPN FC and you missed out.
Yeah, I've got it. Got it.
I thought you'd be a ball boy.
Oh, yeah. If I'd put my shorts and my trackie on and I would have got away with it. Probably not.
So obviously they've equalled the league titles of Manchester United, but they are actually now the most successful English team because of the European titles as well, Mark. So it's even more cause for celebration for those from Liverpool.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, 6 European Cups, 20 league titles, more EFL Cups, League Cups than Man United. I think there's no dispute at the moment that Liverpool are the most successful team in England, and historically, I think there's no debate about that. I think it's a hard argument to have right now to suggest that Man United are a bigger club or a more successful club, especially when you look at the league table. So, Liverpool have earned the right. They've absolutely been the best team in the league this season. They've got a great chance of winning more next season. You'd expect them to go deep in the Champions League. So, Arne Slot's done a brilliant job. What a hard job that was taken over from Jurgen Klopp. Klopp was the absolute godfather at Liverpool, wasn't he? He was the guy that brought that team together, built the team, had the ultimate respect of the players and the fans. He was a god to the fans, and walking into that environment and having to persuade the players and the fans that you're the guy was the biggest test of all. And he passed it with flying colours, and then he's probably even top Klopp, hasn't he? Because by doing his first season, that is an incredible achievement by Arne Slot.
But when I met him in person, and it was fortunate that I was in the restaurant, so I had all the time to have the conversation with him. But I have to tell you, and I was surprised how much knowledge this man has that he knows about our show. You understand? He even commented about it. He says, yeah, I love it, I enjoy it. And I go like, how do you know about it? You're the coach of Liverpool. Why would you know about this show? And he goes, no, I know the things you do. I said, okay, cool. So we talked about that. But just when I spoke to him, as a human, very charismatic, very nice as a person. So if anyone I wanted to win, to win that trophy, that I will never pull back on a person like him, because he took the job. It was a difficult position because, like we talked about Klopp, you understand, he was the one that idolized by so many people. It's not easy, guys, coming in and then taking over. But the key thing he did, what a lot of the Dutch guys didn't do, he did not try to change the whole rhythm and the whole club and everything. No, he carried on in the same trajectory how the club was going, and then took the job and it just adjusted a little bit. But the key thing in this thing was what Salah said yesterday. Salah had an interview and they asked him and they said, how did how did it go on and you play a little bit different now? He goes, no, I told the coach, if you want me to defend back and don't gamble as much as I normally want to gamble, I'm not going to score that many goals for you. And then they decided together and said, okay, then we're going to carry on, and you gamble sometimes so you don't have to defend as much as I would like you to. And look what happened this season to Salah. Oh, my God.
What is the saying? If it ain't Dutch,
I know, he left me hanging, didn't he? If it ain't Dutch, it ain't much, but it's all right, man. I'll let you off.
That's what it is.
Yeah, left me hanging. Left me hanging. I mean, Maka, it's an incredible job he's done. To Mario's point, coming in, taking over from Jurgen Klopp and winning the league in his first season as manager.
Yes, I think no one can believe that he'd win the league. I expected him to do well, Kay, I must admit, but I didn't expect him to do this well, of course, and win the league. And the 15 points clear as we're talking now, which is incredible. You know, if they got, I mean, I don't think their performances will stand up now. Now they, I think they're all fit to celebrate, but you know, they could be getting over 90 points. So it's a stellar year again for Liverpool. And the fact that Arne Slot didn't really bring in any signings, yes, he brought Chiesa in, but he's been utilised very, very little. Mamama Stashvili's going to come in next year, but of course, he's still at Valencia. So the fact that they haven't brought anybody in yet, made the team perform like this, I think speaks volumes for Arne Slot. And he brought in the right staff with him. He looked after the players. He looked after their minutes on the pitch. You know, the training isn't as intense as it was with Jurgen. And he's reaping the rewards. And we know Liverpool will have funds next year to go again. And people will leave and funds will come in. And Liverpool will have a pot of money to try and reinvest and strengthen. And to strengthen from a position of power like they are at the moment is very exciting for the Liverpool players, for the Liverpool fans.
Yeah, speaking of those who might or might not leave, there are reports right now that there is a push to keep Trent Alexander-Arnold. What do you think he should do, Macca?
Well, I don't know is the answer, because Real Madrid in their predicament at the moment, like we've just spoken about, Liverpool have just won the league. So from last year to this year, fortunes have changed for each club dramatically, haven't they? I don't know what Trent, whether he wants to play abroad. I don't know whether he fancies an opportunity to test himself, to learn a new language, to learn a new culture. I have no idea. But whatever decision he'll make will be the right one. He's been at Liverpool since 6 years of age. He's 26 now. If he is to leave, I don't think he's married and has children yet, so it's the perfect opportunity to really try and test yourself. But certain people want to stay in England. Certain people are comfortable in England, comfortable with the friends and the family and the places that they live. Other people want to test themselves. I wanted to test myself. I don't know what Trent wants to do. But whatever he does, he's an incredible football player. And if he does leave Liverpool, he's leaving it on a high. And if he stays with Liverpool and signs a bumper new deal, he's in a fantastic position to do that.
Yeah, it's win-win, Mark. What's the latest that you're hearing from on the ground?
Well, I mean, Liverpool would like him to stay, but they realise that Trent Alexander-Arnold has maybe other ideas in mind and will want more than Liverpool are offering. So there's a gap there. But I do wonder whether what's happened in this last week or so might have just led Trent, if he hasn't decided yet, hasn't signed anything yet, to think, well, am I doing the right thing here? Because the scenes at Anfield yesterday were very persuasive. But obviously, what happened to Real in the Champions League, 5-1 aggregate defeat against Arsenal. We saw in the Copa del Rey final against Barcelona. I'm sure Maka would never swap his experience for the world. And he won 2 Champions Leagues. But if Trent is going for the trophies, right now you'd think, well, Barca are on the upsurge in Spain. Liverpool, Arsenal are going to be strong next year in the Champions League. Would he be going to Real at the wrong time where they're just having a bit of a dip? New manager coming in, lots of issues in the dressing room. Whereas Liverpool look like they could go on and win titles, Champions League. So I think Liverpool might use that argument as one final last push, just to try and say, look, Trent, what are you going to walk away from here? It's a big thing to walk away from.
You can't go up and down because it gets funny. The only thing is, of course, Nottingham Forest, we knew that they were going to have a tough test, you understand, because it feels like City is coming back to the groove. So, yes, there's going to be another spot available. And if Chelsea can close that up, it will be a great achievement for them.
Weren't you going a little... Have you changed your mind a little bit after the weekend, Stevie?
No, not really. Maybe slightly.
So, yes.
Well, I'm trying... I didn't think Chelsea would. But then, I've been sitting here over the last 2 or 3 weeks, particularly talking about Liverpool and saying, look, it's not about how you play, it's about getting results. And if you're going by results, Chelsea's win at the weekend is absolutely in that category. Chelsea were bang average against an even more bang average Everton, but they got the win. And then I look at Forest, not on a great run, and they're looking a bit fragile. I think of Villa. Villa have they're becoming the nearly men because they've been so good this season, but yet they're kind of out of everything. So if Chelsea can keep winning, even though they're playing horrible, then they've got a chance. But I still say it's between the top 4 that are there now are absolutely going to finish in the top 5, and it's one from the other 3. And Chelsea's got as good a chance as anybody, because right now they're in the position.
Shaka, are you yes, no, maybe so, changing your mind?
A few weeks ago, I said Chelsea would miss out, Forest miss out, Villa would finish top 5. I'm going to stick with that. just. And while great result for Chelsea, no question about it, I think they have the more difficult of the run-ins. They have Liverpool. If there's ever been a good time to play Liverpool, it's probably right now.
Yep.
But then they also have to play Newcastle. They also have to play Nottingham Forest. Big game for Nottingham Forest for them as well. And then Villa probably have the easiest of the run-ins. My big concern around Villa is I thought they looked very leggy against Crystal Palace in the FA Cup semi-final on the weekend. I thought concerningly leggy against Crystal Palace. But I stand by that's the easiest of the run-ins in the three. I'm sticking with Villa just.
Mark?
Yeah, I think Villa are out of it. They're 3 points adrift, but their goal difference is really poor as well. So I'm going to discount Villa straight away. And I think Forest, they've got Brentford at home on Thursday night, and that is their game in hand. If they win that, I think that Forest have got the best chance, because you look at Chelsea's fixtures, Newcastle away, really tough game. Liverpool at home. I know Liverpool have been celebrating, but it's still Liverpool, and they won't want to go out there and lose at Chelsea. So Forest away last game of the season for Chelsea could be a massive decider. That could be the game that decides fifth spot, because I think, let's say, Villa will be out of it by then. So I'm going for Forest-Chelsea, final day, winner takes all. I think their squad is pretty much what it was a couple of years ago. They built a squad in the National League to get to League One, and now they're in League One. They've got a lot of players at that level that are basically overperforming. So to make the step up into the Championship, which is a tough league, they're really going to have to bring players in the summer. They're going to target free agents, Premier League free agents, players that have done a good job at the top level that can help Wrexham make that transition. But they're not a club that strikes me as one that's going to try and consolidate. They want to go for it. They want to go for promotion next season. I mean, can you imagine National League to Premier League in 3 years, which is what it would be? Incredible achievement.
It really would be, especially the Championship, though. Obviously, this is an amazing achievement, Shaka, but the Championship, it feels like it's a different kettle of fish, because we've seen clubs with Premier League players that have come down, clubs with players that could be playing upper division, try and do it that way and still get caught in that really tough league.
It's a tough league to get out of, because you've got to balance the physicality that comes with the Championship that so many of the teams from the lower leagues and in League One and League Two bring to it. But then you've also got the footballing power of a lot of those teams that are relegated from the Premier League, and the balloon payments that come with that kind of gives some of those clubs a little bit of an advantage just to start with. So it's a really difficult balancing act, both in how you structure your business and how you build your squad. And to Mark's point, they've been having to build this squad for some time. You just wonder how much more they need to do to be able to compete. But these are problems that they wanted to have. Mm-hmm. These are problems that players, managers, the ownership group want to try to figure out. They know we know all eyes will be on them, not just because of who they are and what they've done, but also I think a lot of people have just kind of bought into this story, bought into how they've progressed through leagues, and want to see where they go, and maybe they are able to put together the kind of financing that will see them compete with the big spenders. They've shown that they can compete physically with those from lower down. So it's an interesting prospect for them at this point.
I think that's what we're going to see, Stevie, getting Premier League quality players to try and get out and into the Premier League.
I mean, the model so far has been about going into the next level and getting players in that are the better players for that level. This one's a different ball game. This is a huge leap to go to the first division and think that you're going to go then into the Premier League. Personally, I hope that they're sensible and don't overdo it and overspend. I think they should think about, how do we stay here? How do we consolidate in this league and then maybe start building towards trying to get in the Premier League? I think it's a fairy story already, but they don't want it to turn into a nightmare and overdo it. So I think they should
keep the fairy tale. What kind of fairy tale guy are you?
You've got to be sensible.
Well, the championship will it will suck the positivity out of anybody.
It is.
Trust me when I tell you.
Here's the thing. Below the championship, you can get through it all by playing good football. When you get in the championship, you need more than that. You need strength, and you need the right characters, and all the horrible side of the game, you need to have that in the Championship. And then to get out of it, you need even more. So be smart. Don't go spending silly amounts of money on Premier League rejects who might not have the right character and attitude and can consolidate. That would be my Uncle Stephen's sensible talk for the
There we go. And it's nice, sensible talk. We just saw pictures of the owners there, Mark, of Ryan Reynolds, of Rob McElhenney. We've seen Phil Parkinson saying they deserve it because they've let us manage. They've brought a whole community even tighter together. It has been really remarkable what they, as owners, not knowing anything about football coming into it, have managed to do too.
Oh, absolutely. It really is. The feel-good factor at Wrexham is just there all the time. It's a fantastic place to go to. And I think we spoke to Phil Parkinson after the game, and I know Shaka knows him well, but he's a guy that knows the Football League. He's managed in the Championship before. He's had 6 promotions on his CV. And he was making the point that the physicality in that division is very big. But he said, we're not going to go crazy. We're not going to sign superstars or egos, which is the sensible way to go. And then he was asked, the next question was, what about Jamie Vardy and Kevin De Bruyne? So he didn't rule it out, but I think we can rule out those 2 signings for a start. But they are going to go about it in the right way. And he did make a very good point that whoever they sign, if it's a superstar or not, they're not going to be bigger names than the owners. You can't be a bigger star than Ryan Reynolds. So, I think they're going to be okay for a while.
Mark, you've been a busy boy and you're going to this game as well. Arsenal against PSG. We're already back to Champions League time. What are you looking out for in this game?
Well, I mean, I've seen a lot of PSG this season, and I saw them at the Emirates in October, and they were terrible, absolutely terrible. And at that point, you're thinking they're not going to get out of the league stage. But that was almost like where they bottomed out. And from that point on, their transformation has been incredible. They beat Man City. I saw them win at Stuttgart, tore Stuttgart apart in the final league game. And I think right now they are the most exciting team in the world to watch. But when I saw them at Villa, they were pretty frail second half. And I'm thinking that, Arsenal have got great organisation. They're very solid at the back against PSG's fantastic attacking force. But for me, the issue is, obviously, Gabriel's out for Arsenal. Thomas Partey suspended. So I do think that PSG have the edge. But they do look vulnerable to me against a team that can defend and can attack as well. So it's a really tough tie to call. I'd like to see PSG win it, but I think it's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. We will be talking about that game, of course, tomorrow on ESPN FC. Thanks so much for talking us through it, Mark. Make sure to join the crew on tomorrow's show to look back at everything that goes down in the Champions League. Let's head to MLS, though, where we've got Inter Miami taking on FC Dallas. Now picking the action up here in the 8th minute. Ball's going to bounce around a little bit, but come to the feet of Shaq. 1-0.
A great strike.
16th minute. Into Miami, putting the ball in. Dallas can't clear it. And Fabrice Picot scores.
Nice skill down the right-hand side, and then everybody all at sea. Picot just tapping in from close range.
29th minute, crossing by Frey. Alan Obando flicking it home.
Well, he just wants to make it his, and he did.
To the 56 we go, into Miami on the attack. And it would be Hector Martinez to come in and find the back of the net.
Well, this looked like foul all the way, and then all of a sudden Martinez just finishing it off, saving the referee making a decision.
Dallas set piece here. Goes in off a deflection. And then the game would be tied in the 69th minute. As Anderson Julio played through, scores.
What a super ball. But then look at the finish. Cool and calm, rolls it home.
And then things really did turn around. Logan Farrington would put it back to Pedrinho. He puts it away to make it 4-3.
Nice finish from the top of the box from Pedrinho. This is a great cutback. I'm not sure if he picks out Pedrinho specifically, but right place, right time.
So Lionel Messi and some of the other stars were rested for this game. It was the unbeaten start coming to a halt for Inter Miami. But yes, no Messi on the pitch for them there. Galaxy taking on Portland Timbers next up for you. 38th minute is where we're going to pick up the action. Anthony is going to find David Acosta. 1-0.
I mean, it's a good strike, Shaq. Should the goalie have stopped that?
Yeah, I think so.
53rd minute. Anthony this time finds Santiago Moreno. 2-0.
Nice finish, Moreno far post. Good first touch despite coming through bodies.
To the 63rd, Anthony Busy-Boy and
Oh,
Kevin
nice.
Kelsey putting this one in.
Yeah, nice little cut back, but it's a super strike. There's too much pace on it. Keeper can't react quick enough.
However, Galaxy would go in search of putting a few back on the board. Here's the first of them from Christian Ramirez.
What a ball this is from Paintsill to pick him out, though.
And then the goal scorer would prove to be Provider with Marco Royce, making it 3-2.
Well, he dug that out. He got ahead of it, but managed to get it in.
And then Emiro Garces is going to bring down Jonathan Rodriguez in the box. That's a penalty for the Timbers.
Standing leg, does he?
Yeah, I thought it got too close, was wrong side of the ball, makes contact, goes down. Referee no real choice but to point to the spot.
And it is Rodriguez who converts that penalty, and it finishes 4-2 to Portland Timbers. This is how things are looking in the table right now. They are in second spot as it stands right now after 10 rounds played. That's over in the Western Conference of MLS. As for the Eastern Conference, this is how things are looking. FC Cincinnati at the top of the proceedings as it stands right now, into Miami in 5th, and they did suffer that loss in that last game. Hello and welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. We have Shaka and Stevie and Mario Melchior. And if it ain't Dutch...
Hey, it ain't much.
We got there in the end. We got there in the end.
Oh, eventually.
I got that.
Ah, boy.
Perfect timing, because first question, Mario, is Slot the best Dutch manager out there?
Oh, boy.
Oh, if we're talking about Holland at the moment, I have to say yes. But listen, that's only for this season. We cannot, because history tells us that other Dutch managers that did great things too. So I cannot wipe them away. But at the moment, I'm talking about this season, yes.
Absolutely. Okay. Should Aston Villa and Manchester United swap Watkins and Rashford?
Well, if you're Ollie Watkins, you hope not, right?
But yeah, if you're Manchester United, you're jumping at that.
Aye.
If you're Aston Villa, I'm not sure you see that as a straight swap.
Why would Watkins want to go to Manchester United? Unless it's a big fat paycheck.
Oh, there you go.
After that, there's no reason to go there.
Huge club. Still has the pull for some players.
Stevie Hayes,
Name names.
Stevie
here.
Hayes, Manchester.
Give me one,
Stevie
give me
just
one
don't
name.
like Manchester United. That's all it is.
Hold on. Give me one name. And then
Well, that's how somebody might think. All the players who've gone there have obviously seen it that
give
way.
me a name now, right? A top player who would go to Manchester United, you think?
Me?
Oh, no.
You don't, exactly. No, because they wouldn't. It's only going to be young guys. It's going to be young up-and-coming guys. And it'll be young up-and-coming guys who are not quite there yet.
What about if they win the Europa League? And people want to be part of that?
Oh, people are going to be drilling all over them. The Europa League.
Yeah,
right.
Okay, come on, Kay. Come on now. We're talking about the Europa League for Man United. Come on, don't compare them two to each other. Come on now.
I think you need to rethink.
Okay, for all, Wrexham officially clinched their return to the Championship. Can they do the impossible and go to the Premier League with back-to-back promotions?
So, we have the worst fairy tale of all time on this show today.
So we
Don't
put it
go
to
to
you.
him. Don't go to that. Yeah, they can. I'm forever hopeful. I know Phil Parkinson well.
Yes, you
Parky
do.
and I
Played
signed.
with him, didn't
Yeah, Parky and I signed for Reading at the same time. Great guy.
But was he like we see on the show, where he's very calm until he gets on the pitch?
Yes. I don't think I've played with anybody who's more different on the field than and off it. That's Parky. Nicest man you've ever seen off the field. On the field, he just turns into some totally different. and to that point, we were talking in the show about Wrexham recruiting and Parky, and if he has any say, it's not going to be any kind of big-headed superstar, because that's just there's nothing about Parky that says that, and I'm not sure that Parky would go for anybody who kind of in any way emulates that.
Do you know what's nice, Stephen? I wanted to mention it to you, is that he did say about the owners, Hollywood stars obviously, he said they deserve it because they've let us manage. And often you could see people like this coming in and thinking they have to have their say, and I'm sure we see to some extent they do, but how important is that for a manager to be let to do what you need to do?
It's fantastic. It's exactly what happened to me at the Revs. The Crafts just said, look, we're employing you because you know about the game. We don't really know about the game, so we want you to go and do it your way. And that was it. And the only time I ever saw Jonathan or Robert was on game days supporting us. It's fantastic. It's perfect.
Just how you would want
Yeah.
it. Klopp's title-winning 11 versus Slot's title-winning 11. Who wins? We got them. We had a little.
We're going to show them. We're going to
graphic,
show the
mate. I
11s,
know,
or
we've got
we're
a
supposed to
graphic
guess. We'd have a graphic. I'm going to go. Klopp's title-winning 11, simply because the likes of Salah, Van Dijk, Alisson were 3 years younger, 3 years closer into their prime. So that's going to be my option.
How's your memory, Stevie?
That's a tough one.
Mane,
Yeah.
I'm going to go Klopp.
Firmino. I'm going Klopp.
Yeah, because I think Klopp's team was pushed harder and put under more pressure than this Liverpool side. So that's why I'm going to go with Klopp.
Absolutely. Mario, are Chelsea fans getting a little impatient since it's now been 8 years since they last won the league? Are you concerned it might take quite some time before they win another league title?
I'm already strapped up to wait. So I hope they should join that bandwagon what I'm waiting for, because, like I said, Champions League qualification first. If they don't make it this season, so we have to look at it next season. And then after that season, you can look at some title stuff. So 8 years waiting, I know the patience, because, you've been spoiled, you won a lot. I know how it works because I've been on teams that you feel that and that people want to win things. But that's just not how it goes in football. The other teams are going, you're buying, but the other ones are already great and you're trying to achieve the same level. So you just have to be patient. And I know it's not nice, but it's just the reality.
What's the biggest issue with Real Madrid the new coach has to address? I'll go to you with that then.
100% discipline, on and off the field. Without that, you don't win things. Regardless of how good your players are, you don't win things unless the players on the field are disciplined and doing their jobs, and then doing a bit more for the guy next to them. And certainly when you're ill-disciplined off the field, then it does carry on when you step on the field.
So what does that come down to? Do you have to take internal measures if you see them misbehaving continually?
Yeah, the manager has to have the last say on what happens to the players. And if he doesn't, then it's never going to work. Because then obviously that means the guy up the stair is in charge of. And then when that starts happening, then the whole thing falls apart. When it all becomes one piece, the manager's in charge of this piece and all the pieces in it. But as soon as somebody from the outside starts being in charge of it, it just falls apart. And that's exactly what's happened to Real Madrid. They're just falling apart.
Chaka, do you think with the kind of game Real Madrid played in the second half, they can beat Barcelona in the League Clasico?
If they maintain that, yes. They maintain that and then cut out the mistakes. And Courtois, totally uncharacteristic mistake from him to allow Barcelona back into that game. So you take just that second half alone. They won the second half, didn't they? They outscored 2-1. Yeah,
got to give them something.
Right. They won.
Positivity.
So that's
through his vein.
so to the question, if they keep replicating that, then yes. Then that's yeah.
How do you spell F? The biggest F ever? this is the biggest F.
Let me tell you, that's the worst consolation prize you can ever get in football. Oh, you won the second half. Yeah. Oh, lovely. Yeah. Oh, thank you very much.
But if you can keep your head when those around you, that poem, If, that's what they need to do. Rudyard Kipling.
Go on, tell us the poem.
Rudyard, how you doing these days? You all right?
Sorry?
Has he got any more?
We go way back. Me and Ruddy. Go way back.
Has he put pen and paper recently, has he?
Who will win the FA Cup, Mario?
who will win the FA Cup? You know, like, I mean, what Palace did yesterday is definitely some history changing, you know. I think City is yeah, I go City.
Man City?
If
Yours is the one.
if Palace defend the way they did, both in the middle of the park and defensively, then they can win this.
They can walk with kings and not lose their common touch.
That's no Rudyard Kipling. I thought it sounded like Rudyard Kipling. It's the type of thing he would have said.
And what's more, you'll be a man, my son. Palace or City?
My head says City, my heart says Palace.
City.
No, I'm all heart, Kay. I'm all heart.
Okay.
I'm all heart.
Well, it depends who wins the
you're
second
my
half,
guy.
you know.
Yeah, well, it all comes down to the second half.
To the second half. For Mario, last question. Where do I absolutely need to visit in my first time visiting London this summer?
Oh,
Where
Mario
do you
knows.
need absolutely
Mario
to pick?
knows.
Oh,
Yeah,
Mario knows.
I think. Look, if you don't know the city of London, right? You need to go to. It's kind of traditional. Go, get yourself to Harrods. You can do lunch. You can do
Gosh.
dinner. You can buy some nice things, and you can observe some history. So make your way to Harrods then. And what is also great, the London Eye. Why? Because you can be on the top and see the whole of London. Oh, one of the most beautiful views ever in London. London Eye, Harrods, those two.
And when you go home after being at Harrods, you can remortgage the house.
Oh, you get Shaka's
Harrods.
card.
What?
Tell you what, take plenty of dough with you. Harrods,
Yes.
all the best.
Pretty much anywhere.
You can
Harrods is
look
an
at
experience.
Dubai.
Harrods is an
You can look at
experience. Harrods is an
Dubai.
experience.
You can look at
yeah,
Dubai.
right.
Harrods is an experience.
Yeah, if I go on my own, I'll work and I won't buy.
Yeah, it depends who you're going
Depends
with.
who you're with.
That's the point, Mark. Thank you so much for sending in your questions today in the latest edition of Extra Time. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all over again.